Hey guys, Dave here with How to Beast. Nice day in Boston. I got the Museum of Fine Arts behind me. And in this video I want to talk about, the difference between achieving a great body and a good body. And I kind of want to pose the question to you, do you want to build a good body or a great body? Let's start out by defining the difference between, good and great. So when I say good, I mean that your body looks good. You look good naked. That you have a noticeable amount of muscle mass, and you're also lean. You have some muscle definition. You have a six-pack. It might not be ripped to shreds, but you have something there. I'd consider myself having a good body, not a great body. When you talk about a great body, we're talking more about getting picture like a Men's Health magazine cover, and that's a great body. So a lot of muscle mass, and also very shredded, very low body fat. If we're talking YouTube, fitness celebrities, we're talking more, Chris Jones, Kristen Guzman. I don't even know if I said his name right. People on that tier where they have a lot of muscle mass and they're also pretty lean too. So now that we've defined those two things, I want to talk about, what does it take to achieve those two things? What lifestyle does it take to achieve that good body versus that great body? So the first 2 years, I'd say on average, for achieving the good body and the great body are going to be about the same thing. It's going to require 2 years of proper diet and proper training to get you to that good body. Some guys might take less, some guys might take more than this, but I'm going to say that on average. And that's because when you start lifting weights, you're going to make a lot faster progress that first year and that second year than you are going to do that afterwards. There's diminishing marginal returns. So during these 2 years, if you're someone who's overweight and you're trying to lose weight, it's going to take restricting your calories while you're lifting heavy weights, heavy compound movements. And if you're someone who's super skinny, doesn't have any muscle mass, well, it's going to take eating enough calories, being in that caloric surplus for those 2 years to put on noticeable muscle mass, while also proper training, heavy compound movements, pushing to get stronger. And once you get to that good body, and again we're talking about maybe somewhere between 8 and 15% body fat with noticeable muscle mass. This is when you get to that point where what you do next on a day-to-day basis is going to decide whether you elevate your game to that great body, or you keep that good body, you maintain that good body, and you make incremental improvements, but you don't keep up extremely noticeable high rate of progress. So what it's going to take to maintain that good body is basically the same thing that you've been doing. It's going to be eating a solid diet, and now that you're already in that target body fat range, that's really going to be just making sure that you're eating enough calories to maintain your weight. On average, you shouldn't be counting calories at this point. You should already know how much you need to eat to maintain your body weight, and making sure that you're getting enough protein while you're doing this. You're not being anal. It's the basic, lifting a few days a week, enjoying the process, trying to get stronger, and eating well. And over time you're gonna build a little muscle, lose a little fat, build a little muscle, lose a little fat. You're gonna make this incremental progress year to year. It's not gonna be the same results you saw those first 2 years, but you still are gonna be making progress. And I don't recommend bulking or cutting for the average guy once you get to this point. And when I say the average guy, I don't mean this in a bad way. I just mean the guy who's going for a good body and not going for a great body, and who doesn't want his life to revolve around fitness. And I don't recommend that because it can easily lead to eating disorders and body image issues if you're constantly bulking and cutting. It also makes it harder to plan your meals and live an enjoyable lifestyle. We can go out with friends and not be anal all the time. But if you're going for that great body, even once you get to this point, you're actually gonna have to start paying more attention to your training and to your diet, as opposed to less attention. You're gonna start having to pay attention to those marginal factors that only really account for a small difference, because at this point, you've sort of already maxed out those noob gains, and the marginal factors are where you're going to depend on. So, your meal timing is going to have to be spot on. All of your macros are going to have to be spot on. You're going to need to figure out the right amount of fat, carbohydrates, and protein to eat on a day-to-day basis for your specific body, to see what you respond best to and what you can make the most strength gains with. You're going to need to start incorporating more advanced periodization into your training, so that you're working at a deliberate pace, under your max, while always increasing the intensity, lowering the volume, and then deloading, and then doing that again. And I don't want to get into the specifics of more advanced periodizations in this video, but you're gonna have to pay a lot more attention to your training, to the volume of your training, to the workload of your training, and to knowing when you need to back off and deload. And all of these factors really combine to take you to the point where your life almost is going to revolve around fitness. And even then, even when you're doing all of these things, the truth is that unless you have amazing genetics and you're 100% consistent with all this other stuff, you're still not going to reach that great body level that we're talking about. You're probably going to need something extra. You're probably going to need some steroids. And I don't want to get into steroids in this video. That's a topic for another video. But if you make that decision to take steroids, it's not just going to be this lighthearted offhand decision. You're going to basically be committing your life to this. This is a huge commitment. If you don't do it right, if you don't get, professional, laboratory quality steroids, you just get some black market shit from that random bro at the gym, you're really going to risk messing up your hormone levels. And if you're not cycling it properly, you're not taking your post-cycle drugs to recover and get your hormone levels back in check, you're going to risk some pretty serious shit. You don't want to fuck with your testosterone levels and that type of shit. Not unless your motivation for getting that great body is because you want your life to revolve around it, and you really, at the end of the day, you want to be making your money off of your body. Whether that means you're a professional athlete, whether that means you want to be a professional fitness model, that's what you do. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that you need to check your motivations. If you're just a regular guy, and again, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but if you're just a regular guy who wants to look good, look good naked, boost his self-confidence, boost his self-esteem, and just enjoy getting stronger, enjoy the process of going to the gym and enjoy that lifestyle without having to sacrifice, time with your friends and family, your girlfriend, or traveling and these other things, then you probably shouldn't be aiming for that great body. You should be managing your expectations and saying, I'm going to get that good body, I'm going to put in that hard work those first few years to get to that point, and then I'm sort of going to cruise after that. And I am going to see incremental improvements, but I'm not going to, keep up this crazy rate of progress. And if you do want that, if you do want to have that fitness model body, that's cool too. Just check your motivation. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, because it's not just this offhand choice. Anyway, I hope all that made sense. I'm just trying to make a point here to get you thinking. That's all I got for this video. Stay beastly.